Okay, so this is going to be our level 1 video, and so this is a newly done video, so it's going to be Gracie back escape for the first one, so I'm going to get over his arm, scoop my hips out. Once I drop my butt, I'm going to put my foot down on the mat, and then bring my other leg underneath, just like a Turkish get-up if you've done those before. So again, scoop myself back, putting all my weight on top of him, scoop my butt out at a 45-degree angle, put my foot on the mat, and then bring the other one underneath. And you'll notice I'm controlling his top leg there. If you control the bottom one, that's going to work too, just as well. But a lot of times you can only grab that top one, so that's why you see me grabbing for that one. Scoop my butt out. Once my butt hits, I'm going to push him back on top. I have to wait until my butt hits, and I have to clear his legs. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with a couple issues there. A lot of times I'm going to end up back in his guard. Next one now is going to be rear naked choke. So with that, basically, I'm just going to go around his neck, back of the hand, into the back of the head. So if you'll notice, I'm going to wrap around there and then grab my bicep on the other side. A lot of times you'll have other instructors put the arm straight out, but I want you to go around the head and then grab your bicep like this, compared to grabbing your bicep and then bringing the arm back. It just creates a little bit tighter of a choke, and then two, it doesn't give them the opportunity to be able to reset that choke or stop that choke, if you will. So kind of a bad angle here, but we're just trying to go through odd angles, so you might be able to catch every single angle. So again, go around the neck. I want to have my elbow just lining up with his crook of his, or the center of his chin, and go from there. Okay, now we're going to do basically a butterfly guard pass. You'll see me push with my hand just to the center of my chest and then try to pin that down with my chest, actually. So push, and then if you'll notice now, my left hand there hooks around the outside of his leg. That way it's hard for him to be able to circle back. A lot of times his only option is going to be to actually roll to turtle. I just chest. Basically, we're just calling this one chest push pass. So here, push down, underhook, walk around. So both arm, I'm going to underhook on the arm side and underhook on the leg side. Now we have the hook sweep from butterfly guard. A lot of times I'll refer to this as the Damian Maia sweep, as he does this one a lot. I'm going to hook around the elbow. My elbow traps his foot. I go all the way to my shoulder goes all the way to the mat, and then I lift with that leg. Now, one of the important things is that whatever side I sweep to, so say if I'm sweeping to this side, my head has to be on the same side, and my knee has to stay on the outside of his ribs, my left knee in that situation. So underhook on the one side, overhook on the other side, drop to my shoulder first, and then elevate. And again, that left knee in this situation has to stay on the outside of his hip, otherwise he'll collapse over top of it. And so notice how I kind of scoot out too, and I want to make sure that I'm falling to my side, not falling to my back when I do these sweeps. Pretty much all the hook sweeps and almost all of the sweeps from guard are going to be sweeps where you fall to your side and not necessarily to your back. If you fall to your back, it's just more surface area for them to be able to use against you. So now this next one is going to be loop choke from guard, from butterfly guard. So I put my hand in there, fingers inside, and then what I'm going to do is collapse over top, use the back of my my other arm to put underneath my armpit or underneath my forearm there in order to create a choke. So I want to push my fingers up to the ceiling, kind of creating a little bit of a scissor motion basically with my arms. So again, one hand goes in, fingers inside. I go around to the other side, put that hand underneath my armpit or my arm, and then elevate those fingers, right? So see my fingers trying to go up there. And basically that just creates, pulls his head in as I go for the choke. Now we have baseball slide pass. This is going to be from guard, so this will be your first one. So I'm going to open up his guard by putting my hands on his hips and bringing myself back. I want to push down the leg and then slide that leg across. You'll notice I'll get an underhook on the left side, overhook on the right side, and then bring him up. Notice my head was on that same side, so I want to make for sure that his face is pointing up towards the ceiling. That's going to allow him not to turn in towards me. So push him away, push that leg down. Left leg goes over, not the right leg. I scoop around, underhook the far side, overhook the near side, put my head onto the mat, and then go into side control. Again, I want to rotate my hips. So you'll see me open up and basically just get big and try to open up his legs, or what we call opening the guard. As I come around, get into side control there. So hands on the hips. Now make yourself big. Nope, I guess we're going on to the next one. Okay, next one's going to be armbar from guard. Push the arm across, pull down the shoulder, foot in the hip, and then right heel goes over top, the left leg goes over top. Notice I don't cross my legs. Basically what I'm trying to do is get perpendicular with that person while still keeping my hips on the mat. Notice my butt doesn't flare out right or left. It stays completely flat on the mat, and I just rotate my body at a different angle. So, again, I'm trying to pull him down so I connect with his tricep, pull down his shoulder, and then force that shoulder down even more with my leg. And, again, I'm not crossing my feet, because if I cross my feet, I tend to bow out my legs. And I really want to pinch with my thighs. That way he's not able to rotate his elbow. And then another big thing is to make for sure that I push my heels down. So I'm kind of like trying to clamp down with my heels in order to get a better bite on those submissions. So as I come around, heels go down and my hips go up. All right, now we're going to do hip bump sweep. I'm going to pop all the way up and then bump my hip into his belly and then come over. So it's basically what it says it is. I'm going to get an opposite grip on the arm. I want to pop myself up all the way up to my hand so I get more power that way, and then bump my belly button into his belly button, or hip to hip, right? So the leg drops down on the side that I go to, and then I push off the opposite leg. So in this case, since I'm going this way, I'm going to push off with my left foot, and my right leg drops all the way down and bump over. Again, this is for a move for when that person is sitting up. Right now, that's what we're going to work on. If they're sitting down, it's going to be really tough to get this move. So try to force that person to either pull down their head to make their head pop up, but their posture should be pretty much straight up and down, or even back. So it makes this move a lot easier to do. You can still get it, but it makes it a lot easier to do if their posture is up quite a bit. Push them over. Go. So try to drop down that outside leg too as much as you can. Now we're going to do a De La Riva pass. He's got the De La Riva guard. I'm going to push that leg down, underhook the other leg, underhook the head, back step a little bit, or drop my hips back. So if you'll notice too, that one foot stays out there. This is kind of a constant theme that you'll see in jiu-jitsu. So I push that leg down, underhook. Now when I step backwards, I'm going to slide that other leg through. Almost like what we call a Turkish get-up, or what people will call a Turkish get-up, I should say, in lifting and things like that. So I first want to break the grip, push that leg down all the way, put my knee to the mat, underhook the head, drop my leg all the way back, and then push it through. One of the big things you'll notice is that I need to get a grip on his head right away in order to do this. So I'm going to go here and put a lot of pressure forward on his face. Otherwise, he's just going to keep rolling up. So a lot of people see that as just kind of flopping over. I have to put a lot of shoulder pressure into him. Otherwise, this technique will not work. Okay, now we're going to do a De La Riva sweep. So I get into the De La Riva position. I pull on the far sleeve, and then I tilt to the left. So I want to basically push with my right foot and pull. So I start in a De La Riva grip. I go to the far side. You'll see me push with that top knee a little bit to get him to fall over. He doesn't have anything to base with, because I'm controlling that sleeve. And then I come up on top into mount usually, or side control. So again, drops down, comes up on top. So a lot of times with this daily Hiva positioning, it's going to be depend on what grip I have to what sweep I'm going to be doing. Now we have a half guard pass. It's going to be the wrestler pass. I'm going to put his posture down, or his back on the mat. I'm going to put my shoulder in his belly button, put my my elbows together, pinch my elbows together so that his legs go straight, and then once his legs have gone straight, I'm going to try to kick out that leg. I have to put my head on the opposite side of his legs. So whatever side his legs are on, whatever side my legs are on, my head has to go to the opposite side. So here, put my head on the opposite side, put my shoulder in his belly button, pinch his legs together with my elbows, and then kick that leg out and walk around. Again, we call this one wrestler pass, just because it's very similar, like coming off of a double leg takedown, what you're going to end up into. So collapse, kick that leg out, walk around. Now from half guard, we're going to do an old school sweep. We call this an old school sweep just because that's what Eddie Bravo named it a long time ago. So I'm going to collapse on that opposite foot, pick with my left foot, and then come up on top. So I want to try to trap his, in that case, it was his left heel to his butt. So you'll see me go underneath first with my right arm, then underneath with the left, and it gives to the right. And then I pull my legs back in order to get his knees to turn slightly and his hips to rotate slightly. And then that'll give me the opportunity to be able to affect his hips. So again, I'm going to go underhook on the far side, underhook on the near side. I want to try to trap his butt to his heel, or his heel to his butt, pick that outside leg that I'm not trapping, and then come up. Again, all the way up. Grab that foot so he can't base out with it, pick to that leg. You'll notice I switch my leg out. So when that leg comes out, it allows me to get up to my knees. You're not going to keep a half guard position. You're actually just going to bring that leg out. So push the foot through there. So now we're going to do another one, basically a foot push. So with that, he goes to a knee on belly position. I push his foot in between my legs, and I can either go up to a double leg like I'm showing now, or up to deep half, or under to deep half like I showed in the previous one, and I'll probably show in this one as well. So here, and then sliding underneath into what we call a deep half position. So you can actually go out the back. You can come up on top, anything off that, but you're in a much better position there. So here, like I said, I'm just popping up, getting up to a double leg takedown, and then going forward. Knee on belly can be one of the worst positions if you allow them to keep good positions. So immediately you have to start working on defending that. So again, that one was pushing the foot and then sliding underneath into deep half. Now we're going to do arm bar, spinning arm bar from knee on belly. And unfortunately, I do this one kind of poorly just because of the fact that my knee is hurting me right now. So hopefully you guys still get the gist of it. I want to try to pull his arm up to the ceiling, slide across, put my knee in his back, and then come over top. The biggest problem that I see when people try to do this move is that they don't pin their back to the shin. What they'll do is they'll slide that knee underneath their back, and if you do that, they're just going to sit on your leg. So when I go, if you notice, that was kind of like an example of what I was talking about. You don't want to slide and then come up on top. You basically have to, this one's better I think here, so you have to go there, pinch, put that knee in the middle of the back, and then fall backwards. And the closer I can get my butt to his shoulder, the better, and I honestly want to get in a perpendicular motion as well. Next one's going to be a hip escape from mount. So I can bring him forward if I want, both hands to one side, start scooting my hips out, side to side, and I'm just trying to bring my heel to my butt and then scoop my hips out. So just making a motion from side to side, working on getting my myself out. So hands tight, opposite side, and bringing my butt out to the other side, scoot out. Once I can get a knee out to protect myself, that right knee's out now, then the left knee. So I'll end up going from mount into a butterfly guard position, so a way better position for me. Again, keep scooting myself out. If that knee comes up, then great. If not, you still should be able to get out fairly easily. One thing I will note, keep notice of that where that left left hip is. Later on, you'll be using that as well. So I want to keep that leg on the hip until I decide what I want to do. Okay, now we have Americana from mount. And basically I'm going to take my opposite hand. So if I'm trying to attack his left arm, I'm going to grab with my left arm. In this case now I'm attacking his right arm, so I want to attack with my right arm, then make a figure 4 lock. I want to bring his elbow as low as I can and then lift up, and his back of his hand has to be on the mat. One other option is I can put his like thumb up to the ceiling, which I don't actually show in this video, but that's another option. They'll call that like a motorcycle grip, where you're trying to rotate it like you're trying to rev up a motorcycle. And then you can also do that. But the biggest thing I see is people try to pull up on this way before it's tight. So just try to get it tight to the ribs and then lift up. Okay, now we have a north-south escape. Basically, I'm going to slide that down to my shin, his arm down to his shin, and then elevate off that. I just want to push my hips forward. So we're in a north-south position, like almost a modified side control position. I'm going to come up and then go shin inside on that. So again, my shin goes to his arm goes over my shin. So I'm sliding that down, and then I bring my knee out at like a 45-degree angle to go up to side control. One more time, bringing that up, and then all the way up into side control. Okay, so now we're going to do a north-south submission. So this is, I call this in the Rigan Machado Kimura, because he showed that to me. So one big thing with this, I'm going to take my arm and kind of knife edge underneath his armpit. And when I do that, I want to pin my shoulder down into his elbow and then pop up into a north-south position, collapse around his head. So I want to keep his head nice and tight. And then I want to get his arm in a 90-degree angle and then rotate it in a Kimura fashion. So pull that arm in, smash down on the shoulder, hop up, collapse over his head, and then create that figure 4 lock and then push to the side again. So collapse down, knees tight, pop up, and then rotate. This one is extremely painful, just in the beginning part where you see me slice there, because you're trying to crunch them down there. And again, try not to keep that arm locked like that. You want to switch it to that L position or 90-degree angle, and then go for the submission. Otherwise, they'll grab something like their belts or the gi. Okay, now we have a hip escape into guard. So I want to bring my heel tight to my butt and then scoot my hips away. So heel tight to the butt, scoot out, and then bring my leg up and then through into guard. If you have longer arms, longer legs, it's going to take a couple more escapes. Don't feel like you're going to get this one time and then be able to shoot the leg through. If you're a shorter guy, you might be able to get it with one, but chances are I might as well just do one or two, or 2 or 3, I should say, just to make sure that you're going to be away enough. Again, one hand's going to be on the bicep, one hand's going to be on the shoulder. I'm not pushing away. I'm just creating a frame so he can't come forward. Again, I don't want to push, because then I run the risk of getting a submission off of there, them doing a submission off of there. Now we have a side control submission, which is going to be baseball choke. My thumb is going to go inside on the bottom side. My fingers on the top side. Elbows are going to go together like I'm swinging a baseball bat. My shoulder's going to go into a sternum, and I'm going to rotate my hips just like I'm hitting a baseball. So again, this is the no-gi version, where I basically collapse my hands together, put that shoulder down, and then swing through just like I would with a bat. This one will be gi version again, so thumb side, fingers inside, shoulder to the mat, pop my hips out, and then rotate my hips through. One of the big things is making sure that you put that shoulder into the sternum, otherwise it's not going to work. Again, fingers inside, thumb inside. Fingers on the top side, thumb on the bottom side, shoulder in. Now we're going to do a single leg takedown. So similar to wrestling, but I just want to make sure that my head stays on the inside so I don't get guillotined. That one is running the pipe essentially, so you'll be going down to the calf and then rotating off of them. So this is going to be bringing the leg out, and then I'm going to rotate and pick the foot. So again, we're going to go back to running the pipe. With that one, basically I come underneath, get my head on the inside, and then I want to drop myself down. So whatever side I'm on, I want to keep rotating towards that side in order to break him down. So it's just I bow basically as I spin. This next one I'm going to go to the side, pick, and then bring that leg out and then rotate. Now if you notice there too, if you watch the video later, I did go backwards on that as well. Okay, so now we have guillotine from standing. I want to go, arm comes around, and then I want to elevate my elbow up. This is a Marcelo team after Marcelo Garcia, but I just use this basically so I can also sprawl back if need be. So I'm going to grab the outside or the meat of my hand and then try to put my other elbow to his lower back. So there. So my knuckles can go on his the back of his shoulder if need be. So up there, see where I put the knuckles down and then try to bring my elbow over. So all the way up, bring the elbows over. Going through. So again, I'm trying to not affect his neck, like his throat. I'm trying to affect his blood loss or like the arteries. So make sure that you're going bicep and arm on the side. Now we're going to do a turtle roll. So I'm going to block him and then bring that leg really wide and go into guard. And a lot of times, if you notice there, I ended up in a triangle position. So again, I'm going to frame away. So I push his arm away or just frame and then swing over with my near shoulder, and then I swing my far leg all the way around. So in this case, I'm going to put my left hand, push him away, drop over my left shoulder, swing my right leg around wide. If I just try to roll, it's not going to work. He's just going to end up on top of me still. If I swing my leg like a really wide swing out, like a really big pendulum, it's going to work. So see how wide I kind of swing that around? That works better. So again, a lot of times you're going to end up in a triangle position with this one, and it should work fairly well for you. Just to at least get back into a scramble or into a guard position. Push away, rotate over that shoulder, spin around. Last one off this series we have is clock choke. With that one, basically I'm going to go thumb inside and then swing around. So all my weight is going to go on the top of his neck. Really, it should be at his shoulder and the top of his neck. So if you notice, I'll collect there, put my ribs down to the top of his shoulders, and then swing that leg outside. I'm showing two different variations here too. So I'm going to go thumb inside, grab that opposite collar, bring my ribs to the top of his shoulder, and then put all my weight on top of him. And then now this one's going to go elbow down. Same scenario, though. Basically, I try to put my ribs on the top of his shoulder and then look up to the ceiling and pull that hand out or that arm up. So swing through, bring the hips up. Again, this choke won't work unless I bring my hips up.